Babe, why don't you share what just took place? You said that just gotcha. What gotcha?
So this is day 2 in a row that we've had somebody come up to us and just start a random conversation about shit that we have zero interest in. And
well, not even really a conversation.
Not even a
like
conversation.
a one-way, them talking
yeah,
at us.
monologue.
Yeah.
And we've basically stood there like, how do we telepathically with each other, how do we get away?
Yeah.
How do we stop this person from talking at us?
Yeah.
And it happened last night at the grocery store where someone literally walked around
following
us, talking about something he was really passionate about.
And he worked at the grocery store.
And he worked at the grocery store. And then we come to this park and we have, hey, do you want to do a Facebook Live? It'd be cool to recap our journey, blah, blah, blah. And then right as we're setting up the tripod and everything, this older gentleman, he was around us anyway, and then he strikes up a conversation. It was a little awkward. And then I wound up talking to him a little bit more. And what got me was that there was a moment in time where I stopped thinking, how do I get you to go away? And I realized, I kind of shook literally for a second and told myself to meet his eyes, which were crystal blue. A little old man from Maine named Ken, crystal blue eyes. And as soon as I met his eyes and I actually started listening, you don't know if his name was Kenneth.
Old Kenneth. Everybody knows old Kenneth. Kenneth. Kenny.
Anyway.
Ken Dog. Ken Boogie. Any who's old.
What are you doing? So I looked at his eyes and I actually started listening to what he was saying and feeling all. And as he walked away and he had this random conversation with us, I just was overwhelmed with the feeling of this person is so lonely and is probably having a one-sided conversation all day long because his wife died a couple of years ago. And so he stops and he takes pictures of strangers so he can show people when he goes home to Maine.
Which we know all this.
We know all this.
Died. We know
his wife died.
His mom passing away.
His
Alzheimer's
mom passed away.
And that whole experience. Drew's from the big man.
Drew.
The territory.
Anyway, you could just tell, right, that he wanted connection, and then he walked away.
It's a fine line between recognizing that. First of all, recognizing that is beautiful. Like, how often do we find ourselves in situations where we're not even aware of that? It's just like, get me away. And way more subtle than like something that was so blatant where he was just like very much rambling at times and talking at us and it wasn't very much two-way conversation. But taking a second to be aware that he really does just want connection and allowing for that connection and honoring that, holding that space while also respecting yourself and your own boundaries and being like, hey, I got my own life, I got shit to do, I want to engage in more of a conversation than being spoken at. By the way, we're in the middle of New Orleans, like downtown at this park.
We're at Lafayette Square.
Yeah, a pretty renowned park, so it's probably going to be a little bit loud.
Well, at least that was like the first time.
Yeah.
It's not like New York. That's like every few minutes. Anyway,
so this was not what we were going to talk about, but there was just an inspired moment there where as we were about to go live, a couple tears came down. She had that realization that this man just wanted to connect. And while we're just, or I, and I think you and we telepathically, like you said, we're just like, how do we get out of this? But I started to feel that same awareness of you, especially when you started sharing about his mom. And I was like, I can take 5 minutes out of my life to enrich somebody else's, allow them to be heard, felt, and to connect. I'm okay with that. I'm not in that much of a rush.
Right. And since it was
to press the live button.
Since it was too. You see that question?
Oh, jeez. Because you're so cute. She's always, she has beautiful emotions. You have beautiful emotions. I love how much you feel. Like, there's been times where you said, like, sorry for crying, or you're feeling a bit,
there
whatever.
I go again.
There I go again, those kinds of things.
I'm going to be known as the one who cries.
I love that.
We go around sharing gratitude, I cry. We go around, what's most present for you, I cry.
You're like my proxy crier. Because it's difficult for me to cry. Not that I don't try and not cry, it's just not a go-to for me.
I don't think that's the
She does
reason
it
why this person is asking if Alexa's having a baby. Because,
Yeah, I know.
Because I think that's from another live stream.
Totally.
Anyway,
Yeah.
any
We had a
hoozle,
scare.
a live stream
Crush
that way.
excitement.
It wasn't really that scary.
That was kind of awesome.
It wasn't that much of a scare. It's kind of awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was at another live stream we did at Brigham University.
Good segue.
I know.
So we
Good
made
idea.
it. After,
We made it.
I think 13 days-ish.
Oh my god.
And really much more than that, but we did 13 days of in the Magic Cool Bus, which we're upgrading the name.
What are we naming her?
So we have a few. We'll go ahead and take a side note for this. Florence, Flo for short. We have Fiona,
Matilda.
Mystic Matilda.
Yeah.
There's little nicknames within
Flo.
the name.
Evelyn,
Evie. And then we were looking at like
we
Greek
didn't even
goddesses.
think of like Penelope. I think that's both.
Penelope?
I think it's a goddess and not a goddess, but
Like
somebody
sort of renowned,
important.
Yeah.
and also a fun kind of
Cleopatra.
funky name.
Yeah, or we're thinking like Aphrodite, Artemis, what would you call Calypso,
Calypso.
Hera, Athena. So if you have any
Cleo.
ideas, recommendations, something
We
speaking
could
your
call
heart
her
and smell it.
Cleopatra and then call her Cleo.
But when I hear Cleo, I think Miss Cleo. Come on down for your free sidekick reading. You remember Miss Cleo, the African American lady? From,
Irish?
No.
I know,
but she was like Jamaican. That was my Jamaican accent. And she did all the cheesy ass
You
infomercials.
go-
I called them
Did
once,
you
by the way, when I
just
was
say
like
African
12.
American and then say Jamaican?
Yeah. Jamaican, I don't know.
We clearly have no idea what we're talking about. When I say we're, I'm clearly talking about Jordan.
Anyways, currently it's called the Magic Cool Bus, where we're searching for a new name. And we
I call the
spent,
psyche lady pass quickly.
we
I'm talking
spent
about.
13 days now, and really, like I said, more, because we started in Southern California, moved out of San Diego, our home in Encinitas, and started making our way up north, and had some adventures in between, spent a few weeks in Santa Cruz, blah, blah, blah. But this most recent one, it was just me, the lady, and the big man.
Oh my god.
Say hi, big man.
Why do you always disturb him?
Because he likes it.
That's enough.
He loves it. And the three of us spent 12 days in my short bus. And it was, and everything I own, which is not that much anymore, I got rid of quite a bit, but still, us three in a school bus that has no air conditioning in the middle of summer, going through like the middle of the U.S. where it's hot, humid, muggy. Biggie, like managing him the whole time, was being in and out of hotels and living at Sprouts. I was doing this big promotion for Bulletproof, and so it was just a lot of transition, a lot of energy,
It was
a lot
so
of
much energy.
like physical discomfort because of like the heat, and you have to have all the windows down the bus, otherwise it's miserable and it's loud as fuck. But all that to say, well, first of all, I'm happy as shit to be home. Like my
I
new
love that
home,
you're
our new
calling.
home.
I love that he's calling it home.
Yeah.
And he calls it our house. So
Ah.
everyone, we had a significant moment in our relationship.
Whoa.
Jordan moved in.
Whoa! Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone.
Telling
We're
all
just
the
like,
peoples.
we took a pregnancy test in front of Brigham University. We moved
That
in.
was part of our
LA.
adventures.
We're going. We're misfits.
Hey, we've only been together for not even 6 months, like basically 5 months.
But I think that there's so many people that just, they know us together.
Sure.
It's such an
It's all
interesting
happening
thing.
so fast. Get me out of here!
Someone save me. This California man, he trapped me. I love how Biggie is, he's
Resting on
been
you.
resting his head on
He's
my
got
hand.
a heavy head.
He has a
That's
heavy
big
head.
ol' head.
It's a
Look
big ol'
at
head.
it.
So speaking of Biggie and his big ol' head.
Yeah, so...
This was the last couple of days. We didn't do a live stream. We were doing them pretty regularly, and then we didn't.
I think
for a
we
hot
were in
minute.
some heavy states, and one of them was Biggie. We went to, so the lady had this really exciting, bright idea to go to a drive-through
Anytime
wilderness
someone
park.
says, they had a bright idea, that's the preemptive work to say, like, it was a bright idea, because it was terrible.
And to be fair, it was actually, when I first heard, I was like, and then I started to think of Jurassic Park, where they drive through in except, none of the dying
way
stuff, more of like
cooler.
the cool part of it,
The cool part.
the glamorous part.
The mosquito and
not
the amber and the
Tyrannosaurus
syrup.
Rex
Amber.
mauling part.
Okay.
The amber, that's a cool part. And in my freaking school bus, I'm like, yeah, let's drive through. That'll be cool. It was called Arbuckle Wilderness Park, and so as we start driving through, there's like donkeys everywhere. There's llamas. We have this feed, and then these like big old Pepsi fountain drink cups, and we're putting them out the window. And they're like coming in the window, and is that from a Disney movie?
Yes.
Shocker.
It's from The Emperor's New Groove.
I heard that's a good one. I haven't seen it.
It's so funny. It's like the hidden gem.
You're like the hidden gem.
Oh, thanks. You didn't piss me, aren't you?
Yep.
I knew it. I never know where it's going to be. Just don't lick me.
Okay, so in the wilderness park.
We're in the wilderness
As we're
park.
going through, and all these animals are coming up, and we start seeing some exotic animals. They have like a white tiger. They have like bison.
We start seeing exotic animals.
Yeah, giraffes, zebras. I don't think I'd seen a zebra in real life before.
A longhorn.
Yeah, freaking gnarly longhorn.
I don't know how he keeps his head up. We think Big Man's got a big head.
He was like laying in the cut too, ready to fuck some shit up.
Yeah,
it was funny.
Anyway,
but as this is happening, Biggie's getting very worked up because there's like all these wild animals, and he's
a domesticated
new, yeah,
dog.
and he's very domesticated, and so he's just like
primal
jumping
instincts.
around the bus. He almost got a camel. I mean, this camel put his whole head
inside the front door of the bus.
I was afraid for my life and for Biggie.
I got it on video.
Yeah, he growled at him. The camel growled at Biggie. Ha!
And Biggie almost, if I didn't have my arm, like my hand, yeah.
That would have been a strange scene. What do? Do you try and like save/help the camel, or like
or do you like get your dog off of the camel's face?
Anyways, that didn't happen. But what did happen is shortly after that, Biggie started to clearly overheat. Now I've experienced this many times with him. He just kind of easily overheats. He doesn't do well in the heat. And all of this energy combined with the actual heat, the symptoms of overheating and exhaustion started to set in. And so I'm mildly starting to panic. I've been at this place before with him, so I know what to expect, but she hadn't.
I hadn't
I've
seen
told her
it,
stories.
and I was looking at him like, oh my God, if I watch, I just think of you.
I know.
I mean, I would be really,
my freaking heart.
I would really lose it also, but like I panic for you, I think.
He's gonna die an old man asleep in his bed.
With no pain.
Yes. So, as this is unfolding, and you're only supposed to go 5 miles an hour in the wilderness park, you're not supposed to get out of the car because it can be kind of dangerous. So those exotic animals I referenced, but we're not going to be out of this place for a good amount of time.
She told me 45 minutes from
we're only
start
like
to finish.
15 minutes into it probably.
Yeah.
And so I start picking up speed, going like 15, 20, going around curves.
We see a pond.
You see a pond. I'm
he's like I thought he was
like,
choking on his tongue.
So I want to like cool down his core temperature by putting him in water. And if you know anything about my dog Biggie, he loves the water. He was a sea mammal in a past life. And so I just essentially throw him in. And he swims around for a minute, and it kind of helps. But I'm also kind of freaking out because you're not supposed to get out of your car. And again, there's like wild animals everywhere. So I'm like, all right. So I like frantically grab him, put him in. And now it's like even worse than I think it was. Because now he's all wet. Everything on me is wet. The bus is wet. It kind of stinks from the feed and the animals.
Right. And then you get in and you start taking off, and I'm petting Biggie, and I'm like, just relax, Big, relax, lay. And he won't lay, and then all of a sudden he throws up.
He throws up the salad I fed him.
He throws because he's a grass-fed man.
He is a grass-fed man.
So he threw up the rest of the salad that Jordan gave him, and we're in an old school bus with no air conditioning. So not only is he overheating, we are overheating.
It went
and there's
from
animals.
bad to worse.
It was made for TV movie. I
totally.
think.
I wish
he
that
throws up,
and
and then he starts walking while he's throwing up down the aisleway of the bus, and I'm like. Normally, if I see throw up in those instances, I'm like myself. However, this time I'm in straight panic mode because I'm like, Biggie is dying. Like we've got to figure this out. Like no time for me to get queasy when he's losing it.
So instincts are kicking in. All this is happening, and we're getting closer to the end. But it's also like shit. What are we gonna do once we get to the end of this park? We gotta like cool him down.
Gotta figure it out.
And so we get there and frantically get out. You run inside to go grab like bottled water. And I see some guys around the corner doing something, so I'm looking for a hose, and they have this big, like, industrial hose that dumps a lot of water out of it. And so they just start dousing him. And I filled this bucket, and I just start dumping it on him. They're continuing to douse him. And luckily, they're very, like, kind, compassionate, sympathetic, and dog lovers. The one guy was.
Because he's a dog lover,
And the other guy actually came around.
Did he?
Yeah, he, like, was starting to be what I perceive to be less judgmental and more helpful.
Right, because at first you want to say to someone, well, not you generally, but I want to say, like, clearly I'm having a moment.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what I should have done.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't ask me.
Don't should on me.
And don't ask me obvious questions. Do you have a this? If I'm here, half naked, freaking out with my dog, trying to keep cool, obviously I don't have those things.
So yeah, he was pulling that. You should have done this, or what about that? And it was like,
well,
you're
don't
not
you
helping,
have this?
You're just annoying us. With the other guy and all. So
that
long
was the
story
lioness on
short,
You don't have to
ended
tell.
well.
Yeah.
It ended well. He's alive. We cooled him down and we went on our merry way. But
Was it
with
really
a lot
merry?
of frustration.
It wasn't really merry.
It was not merry at
was
all.
not
It was
merry.
anti-merry.
Yeah.
It was traumatic, dramatic, and a shitstorm of sorts.
Yes.
But again, we made it out alive, and once we got out of there, then we got into the Nilo, really cool hotel. And this whole experience, we're quite the scene. Driving this Magic Cool Bus short bus with like a fat graffiti tag on it that says Mystic Misfits. My pit bull, Alexa with her half-shaved head, tattooed up. So yeah, it was like, we're done,
when we
we're
rock
home.
up, people.
Yeah, people notice. People notice. And so we're going to do this again. And as we continue to do it, we're going to be more intentional. We documented like this whole thing. I have this nice camera, a Canon G7X PowerShot, if that means anything to anybody. And I've had it for like 2 or 3 years, paid like $500 for it, and never use it, but we use the shit out of it. And we're gonna like,
we documented the whole thing.
We're gonna splice it together and do some sort of cool, like, we're wanting to do a show potentially. Because like, we travel on Southwest Airlines all the time. Again, this scene, a big pit bull sitting at my feet, at our feet on a plane. We stay in like similar chain hotels that are really dog friendly. Kimptons are like our favorite. We just have all these like brands and companies and lifestyles that we align with that like support us in our lifestyle and what we're doing. And we think it's really fun and cool and that people would appreciate it and get a kick out of it.
And shit happens in our lives and in our day to day that is made for TV movie. And I think, not. I almost want to say, like, not because we want to do anything that's like put attention on us and we want to be famous or anything crazy like that. But
I kind of want that.
But kind of, sort of, our lives. We want to die. We want to put it out there. It's entertaining to us, and sometimes we're like, you can't make this shit up. So it's kind of like, if the universe is putting all of this, and it is mildly entertaining, especially after the fact, why not document it while it's going on and put it out there so people can actually see what's happening.
Okay, so we gotta go. Got shit to do today.
We do.
New Orleans, I'm gonna paint this city red. We're here for at least the summer, maybe even longer. We'll be journeying throughout that time, going to Burning Man, doing some more cool bus adventures, but we're upgrading the cool bus majorly. She just went crazy on Pinterest finding a bunch of badass shit to upgrade it.
My Pinterest board is public. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I've had a Pinterest for since it started, but I've never used it.
I don't really know how to do the Pinterest thing, but I have one. It's called School Bus Conversion Board. Yes.
Pretty self-explanatory.
If you know anything about that and you want to tag me, and I don't even know how to work Pinterest.
Do you tag people on Pinterest?
Do you tag people on Pinterest? Do you share?
Do you click the link below?
Do you click the...
Okay, what's the final word, babe?
Would you guys watch a weekly show?
Whoa.
How many of you, if we had, we do Facebook Lives, but what if we legitimately
had like
used
a produced
other
show.
cameras? We had a produced or edited show.
Jordan, Alexa, and Biggie. In the comments, put what would be the name of this show? Jordan, Alexa, and Biggie? It's too simple. Let's get more clever.
You did think it. So that was other than help us with the bus's name. That was the other thing that we were going back and forth, is that if we actually do a produced show...
I'll do on you. I won't.
Stop that. It's called Cuptophilia. Stop.
I will not.
This licking is getting ridiculous.
Another thing about here is it's humid, and when the sun comes out, the guns come out, but it also sweat comes out.
Yeah, and Big can't, obviously he cannot cool himself down.
I'm going to end this Monday morning Facebook Live with some gratitude. I'm grateful for you.
Thank you.
I love doing life with you.
I love doing life with you.
It's really fun. And of course, this man.
Yeah. That's something that since the day we had our first FaceTime date, since the very first voice note, it's very on brand, that you sent to me in Facebook Messenger.
Busted a freestyle.
He busted a freestyle.
Flow.
What he was doing was sharing gratitude, and it's something that I am grateful for his gratitude that he does that every single day, several times a day. He tells me what he's grateful for about me, and I return usually.
Yeah. You do good, guys.
I do good. I do. Yeah. Anyway. So share your gratitude today.
Yeah, do it.
Do it, even in the crazy shit that might be going on in your life.
Especially in that kind of shit.